All right, so I think we can start now. So if anyone would like to introduce themselves, they can. Anyone? All right, so we will be starting now. Just a second. Right, just
Hassan, you can maybe introduce yourself and tell people who are you, tell them a little bit about yourself because they don't know you.
okay. So I am Hassan, and I'm basically a code scout for CODINGAL, and I have been making apps and fun projects in Python from quite a long time now, around for 2 years. And I have been recently recruited. I have been recently recruited as a content creator for Geeks also, and I have a YouTube channel. So, and today's project would be, we will be making an AI like Google Assistant or Alexa, but for the sake of Marvel fans, we are calling it Jarvis. So that's it is all about. And so let's start the whole thing now. So this is the getting started page is here. And if you are making this project live, like you are sitting on your computer and making this thing right now, right now, I have a link for you from where you can get the code. So let me just copy paste it in the chat. Here we go. Just a second. All right, here we go. Oh, someone is asking what is your name and what is name of your YouTube channel. So it's called Introvert Coder. You can just check it out. YouTube/Introvert Coder. So that's not the main theme here. So let's get started. And the first thing we will be going to do is just let's get an idea of basic Python and what will be the tools that we will be using. Then we have thought process of basic AI, that what is and basically an AI, and how will our AI work in terms of, like, we have to use speech algorithms, and then we have to hear and understand that what AI is going to do and all that stuff. I just subscribed to your YouTube channel. Okay. Then we have speech and hearing. So what speech and hearing does is basically simple. You have used Google Assistant, Siri, or Alexa in past, and you know they speak or they reply to you. And then the hearing function is basically that people so AI can hear you what you are saying. So like if you turn on Google Assistant and just tap on the mic, and you can say anything to it, and then it will work accordingly. So that's what hearing does here. Then basic functions, that what are the things that AI will do or respond with. And then we have fusing everything together. So basically that's just the speech part and the thought process part. So let's get started with basic Python. Kindly write your YouTube channel name. Just a second here again. I'll just paste the link here. I'll just write the whole link still. So that's the link for my YouTube channel. Yep. It's called Introvert Coder. So what we have, the basic thing here is first basic Python and ideology of an AI. So how do you expect an AI to work? What I have studied and what I will be doing here is using if else conditions. So like I can show you here. So let's call this one test.py. So we will be going for some simple stuff. Let me just hide this. All right. So in test.py, what we want from our AI and what would be the thought process. So the thought process would be like, we will be going to say something to our AI like, do this, open Google Chrome, or open something, anything, or play music. All right, yes. So open Spotify, let's say, and our AI will respond and work accordingly to what we say here. So how that's gonna work? What's the basic diagram for it? Let me just quickly show you. So we have first input command. We need to have input for our users. Let's just call it an a variable equals to input. For those who are new here, we will be using Python 3.6 this whole course. All. Yep, so we will be using Python 3 for this whole course, and well, basically that's it, and that's the input thing. A equals to input, so you know that's basic input. Now what we are going to do is we will create a structure of a brain structure of AI, like how it will understand and how it will do. So that might sound complicated, but it's actually very easy. So let me just quickly do that. If A equals to, let's just call my variable here play, and then we are going to have print playing, and then we have to have an elif command. So elif is basically else if in Python. So let's just elif A equals to stop. So then we will print here stop. So what I'm showing you here is a basic ideology of how AI thinks in our case, because we will not be using any machine learning algorithms, because that is way too out of hand, and you need to learn calculus and lots of analytics for that, and we are not going to do that much complicated stuff. So let me just give a stop, and then we will have an else command here, else print. So let me just invalid. All right, so this is a basic diagram of how our program can look in terms of what is this. Let me just quickly check chat once. I am assuming there are some doubts that I'm not able to see right now. What is meeting passcode? All you need is just the link. You can get the link from the page, I assume. All right, so what we have here is a basic simple diagram of our AI brain. So if I just compile it, let me just go with, so let's just load our terminal here. And let me show you how the basic structure of our AI will work. So by now you might be knowing that the if else command is just simple thing, because CBSE is teaching Python, and like this is some basic stuff in programming thing. And so what we are going to do is just we will py test.py. Here we go. And now it's waiting for me to give an option. So if I type play, it will say playing. So that's the basic ideology of our program. So I gave an input, or I said play, and it says it said playing, but it is not basically doing anything. And that's what we are going to automate here. Let me just hide that. All right, so as per getting started, we have the basic ideology. You might be understanding the basic ideology here, and I want to show you how far we grow with this. So this is the basic structure of our AI. So you can see we have an open application function. Open application function is basically if the user says, if we say to our AI that open edge. So if there's edge in the word, you need to open this. So I will be teaching you how to do that. And then if the user says word, we will be doing this code. And then if a user says Excel, then we will be doing this code, and so on and so on and so on. Then we have search query. If a user says YouTube, then you have to open YouTube. If a user says Google, you have to open Google. So that's the basic ideology of a simple AI. I'm using simple AI again and again because the real AIs that Google Assistant and Series are made on machine learning algorithms way too advanced for way too advanced for our syllabus. So let me just quickly hide that again. So as per the getting started page, and again I'm saying that you can get this whole code from the link in chat that I have given. So now you have understand what the basic ideology is. The user says something like open Google and do stuff. You can just check it right now on your Alexa, whatever AI you are using. Like you can say open YouTube and it will open YouTube. So that's the basic ideology. It searches for a term. Okay, you are saying YouTube, then I will be opening YouTube. So that's the basic ideology. Then how do we implement that into speech and hearing? So this is the fun part comes in, that you will be making your computer speak and hear, because speaking is something easy, but hearing is way complicated stuff in Python programming. So if you are making this right now, or you will be making it later, you will get a recording of this whole lecture also. So all you need to do is to install a library for your computer to speak. So we will go with pip install. For those who don't know what pip install is, so it's basically like a Play Store but made only for Python. It's a console-based store that houses mostly every library in existence. So what we are, and that's it is. So basically, we are installing a library or an application for Python itself. Pip install will go with pyttsx3. So let me just confirm it here with speak.py. So you can see pyttsx3. What it does is it's basically saying py means Python. When will class finish? Class will finish around within 30 minutes. I would try 30-40 minutes. So pytts3 is Python text to speech version 3. So we will hit enter and it will install right now. In my computer, it might say already satisfied. Yep, it says already satisfied. And then the second library that you will be using is speech recognition as SR. So we will be going to do pip install. So what speech recognition is, let me give you a brief about it. So speech recognition is a Google's library straight from the Google. And what we are going to do is we will send the speech recognition or the whatever you say as packets to Google that will require internet. So you can't use this AI offline. And the Google will process what user said and send it back to us within a whole code, and you don't need to take care of it. So we will go with speech recognition. Speech let me just copy it straight from here. I'm bad at spelling, so we will be just pasting it, and hopefully it will say no database found. All right, so there is something here. Let me just pip freeze and check. So if you don't want to install it like 101 and 101, what you can do is just take my code, what I have given the link, and all you need to do is just to install requirements.py. So as you can see, requirements.txt is the file that houses all the libraries that we are using in this project. So what libraries are? Libraries are basic applications for Python, or just extensions of Python. So all you can do is just quickly do pip install that's the store, and then read, and then we will have our requirements.py. Just quickly tab it. All right, requirements.txt. So you can see it mostly says already satisfied already. Can you show from starting? Yes, we have just started out, so that's not a problem. We have just started out. we have so far used a simple library, a simple thing if else to just kind of make a structure of our program, and then we are setting up our speech recognition stuff. So how computer will understand and how you will be also getting. All right. So you can get the code and wait a second, let me hide that. All right. So you will be getting the whole code and the recording here. And all you need to do is just to install requirements.txt. So what requirement.txt does is basically it installs all the libraries and everything that we have housed so far in the whole code in forms of libraries. And to do that, once we have installed both of these libraries, PyTTSX3 and import speech recognition stuff. So basically to say, let me just comment it out, say, and then we will comment it out as listen to make it more clear. So what now we will be doing is we will take this PyTTSX3 structure and we will be calling it in our program. So we have installed the app. Now we will be using the app basically in a simpler language. So engine equals to PyTTSX3 in it. That means that we will be calling PyTTSX3 here. And then we have voices engine get properties. So all the voices that are installed in your computer itself. So usually Microsoft gives around two to three voices as per Windows versions. I have two installed, I guess, one for male and one for female. And then we have engine.set property. What this does is it will call all the voices. So basically you list all the voices and then you assign a voice that what you will be using. So we have voice 0.id. So in programmatical language, we use zeros as starting. So the first one, you just set it out and you can change the voices here by just going at one. Just a second. There seems to be a problem. All right. So you can change the voices. If you want to switch to a female voice, you can just go with one, or you have multiple voices installed, then you can go two. But I will be using the zero here because I have made it like that. Then you have the speed, the rate or the speed of your speaking speed, at what pace that your AI will be speaking. So engine.set property rate 170. So it's a unit 170 that goes upward. I am not aware how much, but it does go upwards. So if you want your AI to speak slower, like very slow kind of stuff, so you can just decrease this amount to 160, 150, or so on and so on. So let's just leave it 170 here. Then we have definition, define a variable called speak. So speak, whatever we are doing is, can you show from starting? Well, we have just finished the speaking part and the basic structure of the AI. So there's not much we have done so far. So what we will be going to do is we have defined speak audio. So whatever the audio is passed here, and I will show you how to do that. Engine.say audio run and wait. So we will have we have declared a variable audio that whatever I speak, like you know this, that we have print function in Python and in every other language. So let me just show you. So if I print something, there is a variable that holds whatever string I have to print. So let's say, which software is this? So I am using Visual Studio Code, Microsoft's Visual Studio Code. You can just check it out on Google. It's called Visual Studio Code or VSC. So we have print hello world, let's say. So V is code, right? So print hello world, what that is basically, it will print hello world. It's basically storing your hello world variable into some sort of string. So that's what we have done in speak function. And the beauty of this is, just like speak, just like print, we can use our speak function to say anything we want. So let me just quickly go here. Let's say hello codingal 123, and once I run this program, it will say it will print hello world and it will say hello codingal 123. So let me just give you a live demo here. So we will just comment out this one because we don't know, because we don't want it to. All right, so we have commented it out, and let me just check everything is done. And py sleep.py. But before that, let me once quickly check that the sharing is share sound. Am I supposed to? All right, so I have shared the desktop sound, so you will be hearing it. Let me just unplug it. All right, so once I enter this, what is going to happen is it will print hello world and it will say hello codingal 123. So let's do that.
Hello Codingal
Hello, hello.
123.
All right, so that's how the speak. Let me just quickly. All right, so that's how that's what we will be going. That's how simple it is. So let me just delete that and we will remove everything that we did here so far. So we have 170, right? Now, once we have made the speaking thing and I have explained the speaking part, so basically this is just a bootstrap code that you have to use. There is no other exception of using this. You can change the voice IDs and the speed, but using this code, you can simply make your computer speak. Now what we will be going to do is we will be going to make a function to listen what we are saying. Let me just again hide that. All right. So what the take command function will do is basically we will be creating ears for our PC. So it will hear what we are saying and it will recognize what we are saying. So this basically it is again a bootstrap code. You can see it says recognize Google. So it's basically sending packets of our audio. So like if we say something to let's open Spotify, so it will send that open Spotify command to Google. That will require internet obviously, and then the Google servers will send back a string that open Spotify is the command that user is trying to say. This might sound complicated and lengthy, but this all thing happens within just 1 or 2 seconds. So we don't really mind it. So what we have is just fire up the recognizer here that we have called from speech recognition as SR. So SR is the function that we are calling, and we will create, we will call recognizer from it. Then audio is an empty string. Whatever we call is a string and store it. Then we have microphone to use the microphone so we can speak and print listening. Phase limit is 3. What phase limit does is how big your packet should be. So like if I go and turn it phrase time limit 30, so it will just keep listening to me for 30 seconds and it will not respond anything. So I will just go with 3. So what basically I'm trying to say is the duration from it starts listening to it sends packet to Google, its value in seconds. So we will be having 3. So once once it says listening, we have 3 seconds to say whatever we are trying to say, and then it will send that packet to Google. If you want to increase it, it would be 4 seconds or whatever seconds you want to do it. So I will just leave it as 4. So we can get 4 seconds. Let me just quickly once check the chat. All right. So then we have text recognizer Google. So send to Google and define that we are saying it in English US. So you can do it in Hindi. That would be, I assume that's HNIN. I assume that, but we will just be going to use English US because are you teaching about making app? Basically, I'm what app we are making is something like a AI that we use, like Google Assistant, Alexa, or Siri. So that's basically the motive of this app. And this is not a complete app. So you are not going to get a complete Android app. What you have is a Python project that can handle all of it. So we are not packing anything into Windows or Mac or Android files. So that's that. So we will recognize the whole thing in English US. Can we also make this? Yes, you can also make this. I have given a link in the chat itself. Let me just quickly check. All right, so I have given a link in chat where you can just download the whole code that I'm using right now, and you can create it simultaneously. Or let me just quickly kindly send VS Code link. So I don't have a VS Code link. You can just go on Google and just Google VSC or Visual Studio Code, and you will get it. So we were in speak.py. So what happens in speak.py is once we have defined English US, we will print U, that means whatever we have, whatever we are saying, and then it will return a text. Here's a link. All right. So it will U and then whatever you said as text, because it's basically converting your audio here. So we have audio variable to text variable using audio equals to this and text equals to this. All right. Then if you don't say anything, then just print dot dot dots that you haven't said anything and return none. So that's basically simple hearing part. Well, if anyone has any doubt in hearing part or speaking part, you can ask right now. Anyone? All right, so I think that there is no doubt in speaking part or listening part. Now we will move on to create the basic structure or the backbone of our AI. Scroll down where? Well, so I will be coming on that. But first, let's create a backbone for our AI. And why I use terms like backbone or ear, because let's just assume that we are making a organism or a human itself or a robot kind of thing, and that's why we will be using every part of it as organism. So this is basically a backbone and a brain for our whole. Can you show full code? Well, you will be getting full code, and I have given the full codes link in description. So if you want to check the length of the code, it's not so long, I guess. So it's 93 lines here. And then we have different files, so it's hard to say how big code is. So let me just get back to the main thing. So what we are making here is a backbone and a brain itself. So let's first define a wish function. Like whenever the bot starts up, it will say welcome boss. So you can see we are using the speak variable here that I made in speak.py here. Then we have node text. It's another feature, another function that will be that I will be coming back to in a minute. But first, let's see what we have. So first we will, once the main part, the app has started, so name equals to main. First you have to do is wish. So wish is hello, welcome boss. And you might be thinking what this is. The whole commented part is, it's basically a decoration for my app that currently is not working, so I have taken it down. But the code you will be giving, I will be updating code that I have given you, and the decoration part will also be working. So it just kind of gives it a more aesthetic hacker look. That's just it does. So no worries about that. So once the app has started, if name equals to main, when the main function is called, first you should wish the user. And once everything is good, let me just delete this comment. Right. So query equals to take command dot lower. So take command function is the query variable houses the take command function. So what take command function is, the listening part that we created here. So you can see take command here, right? And then we have take command dot lower. So whatever you say, just organize it in a lowercase format. So just to keep things simple and aesthetic. Wait, I was not able to check the chat. How to get main.py? It is in the link, and you don't have to get it. You can just make it yourself, or the completed code is in the description or the chat. You can go with the link. So we have the backbone here. So take query as take command dot lower to keep everything in lowercase. So there's no problem with nouns and stuff. Like if I say the Eiffel Tower, so what Google will send is the Eiffel Tower, in which the T would be capital, the E would be capital, and stuff like that. So we don't want that confusion here. So we will be just converting everything into lowercase. Then we have the functions here, that the main thing that I was trying to explain in test.py. The basic backbone of our app is, if a user says this, then you do this. If a user says this, then you do this. That's what we have here, but in a more advanced form. So you can say, if take query, so the query would be take command whatever we have said. If Wikipedia inquiry or tell me about inquiry, do this. So basically call Wikipedia function, the whole Wikipedia function in for Python, and search on Wikipedia. So to explain it in easier words, if a user says, so inquiry, if a user says a sentence and the sentence has Wikipedia or tell me about in that sentence, you just listen the complete sentence and respond accordingly. Query replace Wikipedia to space, which means if I'm saying Wikipedia, just don't do that. So let's say if I say Wikipedia cat breeds, so it will search on Google, not Wikipedia. It will search on Wikipedia, not Wikipedia cat breeds, but it will just return cat breeds as Wikipedia pages. That's just basically to keep our code clean and avoid confusion for Wikipedia and ourselves, of course. Then the Wikipedia summary function is a function from Wikipedia itself, and we have defined it sentences equals to 2. Means you don't have to give whole Wikipedia page and speak the whole Wikipedia page, because Wikipedia pages are like very lengthy, like 10 pages lengthy. So just say 2 sentences from the first part. So that's that, and speak according to Wikipedia, then speak results. Similarly, we have made a song function. So if a user says beat drop inquiry, so inquiry is obviously the function. And then if a user says beat drop or song or music or play. So let's say if I say play certain music, so it will play whatever I have said. So that's that. And there is multiple ways to say a sentence. We all know that. So play music would be a term, play some certain song would be a term, or just listen to some songs would be a sentence. To just open. Is there class tomorrow? No, there is no class tomorrow. We will be completing this whole code within just 30-40 minutes, I assume. So if a user says beat drop, then use the music function, and I will be coming to what music function does is. Then we have a great function here. The function I love is make a note. So whatever so I'll say, Jarvis, make a note of this. So it will ask me what would you like to write down. Then I will say what I want to write down. Then it will save. All right. So it would ask what would you like me to write down, and then whatever I have said, it will just save it in note text variable, and it will do accordingly. It will basically save. I have made a note of that. So I will be coming back to this function, what it does. Then I have a decoration function. It basically gives a more great look and idea of how you can customize your own code. And I really appreciate if you all take this code and customize it accordingly, because imagine the customizations are endless and it's based on your imagination that what you can make with this app. So we have show private files or enter private mode or enter prior mode, whatever it is. Sir, stuck. Is the video or audio is stuck? I don't think so. Is it?
No, we can hear you and see you just fine.
All right. So we have a decoration function here. All right. So we have a decoration function here that basically doesn't do anything, but it looks good. That's why I have kept it there. So if I say show my private files, it will ask a passcode from me and it will compare it with the original passcode, which is cat. If I say cat, it will say welcome, Mr. Stark. All right. So if I say cat and the passcode matches, it will say welcome, Mr. Stark, or it will say access denied. So basically, these functions are based on imagination. You can just create any functions. You can just put elif and whatever query you have and whatever code you want to perform. Then we have open function here, and open is completely different function than what we have been using right now. We have a whole complete open library, so that I created here. So we will be coming back in a minute once we finish. Then we have again a decoration function here. How are you? I am, and it will say speak. I am fine. So let me just I am fine. Let's just go with Mr. Stark. So that's the imagination part. Whatever you can do whatever you want to do. And then we have elif, the time. So here is the time function that we will be using. So if I ask what time it is, so if the term has time, so it will respond with whatever the time is right now, and it will print accordingly. Then we have exit function to deactivate the program. So that's that. But now the question arises, we have used so many things here. This code is so complicated. And from where it is fetching all these things, like we have searched Wikipedia and then we have made a note. So these are so many working parts, and where it is taking all that is from here. So you can see I have bunch of libraries imported here. Some we have used so far and some we will be using in a minute. Let me just quickly check. So we have Wikipedia. So we have imported so many libraries right here. So we have imported Wikipedia, we have imported subprocess. What Wikipedia does is, I have just shown you, you can use Wikipedia to search anything on Wikipedia using Python. Then we have subprocess, which will make notes for our program. Then we have OS to clear screen and do stuff like that. Then we have time, date time, and we will be coming on Selenium WebDriver, what it is. And play sound is basically to play sounds, all the things that we have done so far. Then we have speak. From speak import also, I have just shown you that speak thing is. Let me just put it right here. So from wait a second, right? So we have made speak, import, and colors. We are not using colors right now, so you can just comment it out. Yep.
Can we type anything in the speak option?
Can you repeat that?
Can we type anything in the speak option? Speak.py.
I'm not getting what you are trying to say. Something about speak.py.
Yeah. Can we type anything in the speak.py?
Can we type in speak.py? So that is a great question. Yes, we can type in speak.py, and we can just add another part of in take command function to just take inputs for us. So if you are not the problem you might be facing is that your computer might not have a mic. So what do we do now? So for that, we can just quickly define a function here. Let me just quickly name the function is type command. let's just call it type command. And what that function will do is, let me just quickly check type command, what we have in main.py accordingly. All right. So let's just hold, what we can hold is text equals to input. So if the problem is that you don't have a mic in your computer and you want to use it, you can just comment this whole thing out, take command stuff, and what you can change is from take command, you can just go and change it to type command. So like that. All right. So we have type command function. So yeah, if you don't have a mic, you can just go with type command function that I have defined here instead of take command. So you can see how simple it is that to listen, we have to do all this stuff. We have to send our audio to Google and receive packets back and forth. In just type function, we have just input. So that's that. Once you try it, it will accept your thing. But for the sake of AI, and we will not be using it right now, we will be using take command function instead to kind of make it look good, and we will be speaking to this whole AI. So we have completed so far the backbone of AI. So how it will work on the basis of if and elif and else. Then we have libraries.py. So this is what I call the brain of the whole AI. What it does is it houses every function that we have created or talked about so far. So you can see in the song function, we have music here and we have music here. What music does is it plays this file here, right here, or the file that I have my the song I want to play basically. And then we have start file, basically start this file. You don't have to worry about that much. What start file does is just like double click on it and open the file. That's what it is doing. Then we have open applications. What open application does is it takes query in it. So where the query is, I have shown you taking queries from right here and putting it right there. So if I say open Visual Studio Code, so what it is going to do, that it will what it will be doing is it will take the query. Okay, so it is 246. We have to complete it. So it will take whatever we have said so far and it will put it here. So if I say open Visual Studio Code, what it will do is it will find Visual Studio Code right here. Let me just quickly do this because, yep. All right, so it will find Visual Studio Code, which is stored right here. So you have to give the path as per wherever you have stored programs. Then we have Spotify, start file Spotify. If you are facing any problem with this, let me just make it clear that start file is basically a means of double clicking an app. So just clicking start on it, and you can find the paths here like that. So like I have a Spotify shortcut here. And in Windows 11, I can just copy as path. If you don't see a copy as path in Windows 10, you can just go in properties and just copy it from right here. So that's not a problem. And once you have copied the path, you can just click on start file and it will start file. Then we have else option, which is obviously an end point of our app. If I say like open Need for Speed, but I don't have Need for Speed installed, so it will say application not available as per the thing.
Sir,
Yes.
how long does it take to build an app?
How long does it take to build an app? So I mean, I'm not getting it. Do you want the time to write this whole thing, or?
Yeah.
So you don't have to write the whole thing. You can just get my code, what I have given in the link. And if you are trying to ask what it took me to create the whole thing, is
Nice.
about a week. I created this whole code in about a week. because I was not working continuously. I just make 2 functions and then leave it. So it took me about a week to create the whole thing. Then we have Google query to just whatever your query is, you can say Google cats. So it will, what is it is going to do is it will put google.com search and the query would be here your cat. So that's the thing. And if you say search, it will do the same thing, but it will say it searched. That's it. And we have for YouTube we have the same thing. If you say YouTube introvert coder, that is my channel, so what it will be doing is it will get this link that YouTube uses to search on the whole query. You don't have to take care of this because it's default and used by YouTube. And then it will add whatever I said. So like if I said YouTube introvert coder, it will be going to add everything and play the thing. So enough about coding, and the coding part is really hectic, I know that, because there are lots of moving parts, and basically I explained all of the moving parts. I assume if there is any doubt, you can ask now, or we will be running the whole code. I assume there is no doubt, or if there is any, you can ask.
One more doubt.
All right. So what we have here
Yeah.
is which you can paste in Spotify. I'm not getting what do you mean by pasting it. Can you share the link? Yes, you can share the link. You can do that, but you have to add some bootstrapper code that will take a little time. So let me just quickly see. All right, so you have to have another WebDriver
Sir.
query. Yes.
Yeah, is there any market for this app?
For marker, I'm not getting it.
Is there any market for this app?
No, I don't assume anything like that. So let's jump to starting our code. So let me just pull out our terminal because it looks good, just for sake of that. Yep. So what to run this whole code, first you have to install all the libraries that we have talked so far. So one way is to, let me just cd desktop, and what file is called Jarvis raw, cd Jarvis raw. All right. So one way of installing all the applications or all the things that I said, like you have to install Wikipedia library. It's basically Wikipedia's application in Python. Then you have to have a sub-process library. Then you have to have a datetime. Then you have to have Selenium WebDriver. So you have to install a lot of libraries here. But we will not be installing every libraries one by one because it will take too long. Like if I install pip install Wikipedia, then it will say, then it will download. All right, so it is saying requirement already satisfied. No worries. But for you, when you will be installing this, you have to have install the whole thing. So that's why what I have done is we will be just using this. Let me just hide on again. All right. So what we will be doing, going to do is we will be using requirements.txt. As you can see, requirement.txt houses everything that we have installed so far with versions. So like I said, we have to install speech recognition. So it tells you that speech recognition version 3.8.1 is installed, and you can install it too by just going pip install, then read, and then we will just go to requirement and I will tab. All right. So let me just show you. All right, let me just clear the whole display here. All right, just a second. Yeah, there we go. So once you have read, R stands for read, and then requirement.txt, so it will read everything and then install it accordingly. So you can see it said requirements already satisfied, requirements already satisfied, because I have everything installed in my libraries, or in my computer I have everything installed. Now the big moment comes in, that we have to start the whole thing. We have to use the AI. So let me just quickly, well, moment of truth here. So I assume that we haven't installed. I forgot to tell one thing here is that we will be using play sound library, that is play audio library in Python. And this is a crucial part in making this application. And I have faced this problem a long time, but here is the solution for that. The play sound library that we will be using, that comes along with PyTTSX3, that's text to speech engine, doesn't have a speaking function. So you can say one thing like I showed hello world or hello whatever I said here. So in like speak, I showed you how to use to make it speak. You can't use it to make it speak again and again. And what we need is Jarvis will listen continuously and respond accordingly. So for that, we have to have a Py audio library. That is a crucial point. All right. So people who are joining right now, we are nearly at the end of this meeting. So let me just quickly install Py audio. So you will be given the whole Py audio unofficial library in the code that I have given you. And so it's basically a library that is not available on store. To put it in simple words, there are some apps that are, can we speak on print.py? Well, there is no print.py. If you are trying to say that, can we print on speak.py? Yes, we can do that. We can just add a print function in, and then it will print whatever audio you want to do. Print. I'm not still getting it. What do you mean by print? If you are saying that take command as text, so that we have already done here. And if you want to print what are we saying, you can just go and print here. And then you can just print.
Sir?
Yep.
You typed there that in the print take command, right?
What? Hello? Can you repeat that?
Yeah. You typed there in the print that is take command, right?
No, the thing that we what take command does is it listens to you what you are saying. So it doesn't print.
You typed there that means yeah.
Right.
Can we say that by speak voice?
So you are saying like instead of speaking something, can we type in our commands?
Yeah.
All right. So that's what I did here is. So that's what I did here is if your computer doesn't have a mic, or is there any problem, so here is a command called take command input. So the customizations you need to do is, all you need to do is to just go in main.py, and then just from type command to make it hear you, like you want to speak to your computer, you have to have take command, and you want to type in your commands, like you want to type the things. All you need to do is to change it to type commands. So that's just take and type thing. So let me just quickly do that. All right. So in case you don't want to speak to your computer and just type in stuff, you can just use type command instead of take command. So I will be leaving it as take command. Then once we have, let me just quickly do that. So we will be quickly installing the library that I was talking about, the Py audio library, to make it speak. Pip install. Then we have, what do we have is Py audio. I will just tab it. All right. All right, so it says already installed. Now we will just clear the screen and let me just share the computer audio so you can hear the thing. And let me connect mic itself. I will use all right. All right. So what we want to do is we remote control. No. So now the moment of truth is we will run our AI and hopefully it will work because I don't think there is any errors left. So let's just go with py main.py. So all you have to do is to run py main.py in your computer and hit enter. Unexpected indent. So there is some indentation error, I assume. In main.py, there is some indentation error in open query. I don't see any indentation error. Let's just quickly realign it in case if there's any errors. All right, I don't see any errors, but all right. All right, so it says unexpected indent. So what unexpected indent means is there is some errors in spacing of my code. So I don't think that you should face this error. And if you are facing this error, you can just remove the line and do it that way. All right, so let me just cd Jarvis here. So this was the development stage of code. Let me show you the final stage of code, how it looks final. So we will be opening Visual Studio Code. Yep. So this is the code that you have been given, not the one I am using, that I have used so far. So what code you received is this completed code that has everything installed and everything completed. So you don't have to have any errors. Let me just fire up some commands for my. So what I'm doing right now is I'm activating a separate thing for my computer for my operating system. Let me just do that and explain. So what I did right now is apart from the whole computer, let me just create another pocket column and we will run our app right there. So this is the completed code that you have received. Run Jarvis. All right. Well, moment of truth. Again, main.py. Enter.
Welcome, boss.
All right. So it is started now because it says. Now let's do this.
What would you like me to write down?
There is some sort of error because I don't think.
Should I name it?
All right. Let me just quickly.
I've made a note of that.
Wikipedia Alan Walker. Wikipedia Alan Walker. It's not picking up. Wikipedia Alan Walker. So there's some issues with my mic because you can see that it picks up something. Open Spotify. Open Spotify. It is not picking up because some sort of mic problem here. Let me just restart the code because restarting does everything. Let's activate that pocket.
Welcome, boss.
Open Spotify. open Spotify. All right, so it is
Spotify.
doing. There is some access is denied with Spotify, so this is a Windows error. Let me just quickly realign the whole thing, restart the whole app. Main.py here.
Welcome, boss.
Wikipedia cats.
Searching.
All right, so it's searching.
According to Wikipedia, a hat is a head covering which is worn for various reasons, including protection against weather conditions, ceremonial reasons such as university graduation, religious reasons,
All right.
safety, or as a fashion accessory. In the past, hats were an indicator of social status. In the military, hats may denote nationality, branch of service, rank or regiment.
What's the time? What's the time?
Sir, time is 15:04.
All right, so you can see how it does. Wait a second, let me just fill it. Yeah, so you can see how it replies to me whenever I say something. Is my audio on? Right. So you can see how it replies to me whenever I say something. And there were some sort of mic problems that I am facing. If you have a better mic, you can do that. And let me just hide that again. So if I now do open Visual Studio Code, so let's see what we can use. All right, so here's a beauty function. We will be running our code again. All right, here we go. So basically that's this is the thing that I want to show you is our code is working basically, and we have created an AI. So
Welcome, boss.
show my private files.
Voice activation required.
Cat.
Access denied.
All right, so it didn't pick up what I said. So as you can see here, so there are mic problems that because I'm using this small mic. I'll show you. So there are some problems here. So play song. All right, so you can see it has fired up playing song, and it says now playing My Ordinary Life. We don't want to play the song here right now. And then let's go with make a note. Make a note. So as you can see, this my mic is facing some problems because I say make a note and it picks up make. So that's how basically our code works. It is working in some sort. Let me just unplug my mic here. All right, so it is working with some parts, and there are problems with my mic, so that's the problem. And as someone said in the chat, that can we use a typing AI instead of mic, because you can see how I am facing mic issues. You might also face mic issues because not everyone has a mic in their computer, or let's just say a good mic attached to their computer like we have in our phones. So can we use it as a text based? So let me just quickly, we will go in speak.py. We will remove the take command function. Let me just remove that. And here we will create def type command, and then we have text equals to. So far we have our app has been running so good, and I would advise you to just check your command, you check the whole code yourself, because it is a great code, you can see, and it works to some sort. let's just go with type command and let's just see what will happen now. So we will be activating our pocket reality kind of thing. All right, so it does say import from speak command. So there are some compatibility issues with my keyboard and the AI. I will update that eventually. But as far as I'm concerned, you can still use the take command function, the mic function that I have given. So just for sake of this meeting, I will be running this program once again just to exit it. And let me just quickly main.py. Wait a second. We will be changing here. What's the time? All right. So I have crossed the time limit that I was given.
Welcome, boss.
Wikipedia military. All right. So, all right. My comments. Let me just quickly.
Welcome, boss.
Exit. We have a exit command, right? All right. Deactivate. It's not picking up as you can see. So there are issues with my mic. Exit.
Deactivating, sir.
All right, so you can see how it works. I said exit, it picked up mic exit, but that's not the issue. Then it says deactivating, sir, and it exited. Now, once we have completed the whole thing and we have created an AI, I would like you to, whoever is new here, I would like you to tell about Code Scouts and the whole CODINGAL platform that is powering this class. And you need to check out CODINGAL, and I can just show you here. All you need to do is to go on CODINGAL, and we have lots of courses for coding students, and you can get a free class if you are interested in taking a paid course. So you can take a kind of free sample, then you can decide whether you want to take it or not. And you can see we have lots of competition and stuff. And before you guys go, now can you from number 1? So can I show my code from number 1? You will get a recorded lecture, and you can just repeat, and whatever you can see whatever you need to see. And in starting, basically I didn't said anything much. All I told you is we are using if else thing. Now if you like this whole thing, you can subscribe to my channel, I assume, and that's called Introvert Coder. And let me just quickly show you that as well. So check out we will need to go on YouTube, and just you can type it Introvert Coder, and that will pop up my channel here. All right, you can see here is my channel powered by Geeks for Geeks and CODINGAL. Can you show from 1 to 93? All right, I get what you're trying to say. From 93, so this file. All right, so can you show from 1 to 93? Well, on first 11 lines, we have just called all the libraries, all the packets that we need. Then we have from line 16 to 21, we have a greeting page that is kind of uncompleted, but yes, it does work. Then from 23 to 30, we have a note-taking thing that I just showed you. Then from 32, we have the whole backbone of code, that how it is going to perform on what basis. If I say exit, you need to exit. If I say time, you need to say the time. So thanks for watching. I assume that we have 13 minutes ahead what we were given. So that's it for this meeting.
Thank you so much, Hassan, for this informative session. I think there were a lot of things. And okay, how many of y'all could follow everything from A to Z? If you can just raise your hands. I think, yeah, I actually wanted to talk to Jasmine because I received an email from her and she said that she already learns coding, like Python was introduced to her, and she wanted that there should be a platform which teaches not just the basics. So Jasmine, can you just share how was this a basic course or did you like the session? Like it was more than basic? Jasmine, can you say, like, can you type it in chat if it was basic or it was good? How was your experience? And anybody else who wants to even share their experience, how they felt the session was? All right, I think we did have a lot of questions when Hassan was teaching, but we don't have anything to share how they felt about Hassan teaching us. So yeah, all I can say is thank you so much, Hassan. And I will also be dropping a link in the chat where they can book the free trial class that you just mentioned with us at CODINGAL. And with this free trial class, you can learn basics of Python in the beginning so that you understand where Hassan got all these libraries from, what is an input function, what are strings, what are variables, everything. And then go on to maybe coding your whole AI platform and share it with Hassan. So now that you know, you have his GitHub profile as well and on his YouTube channel as well, you can maybe type in the YouTube community or one of the video comments how you felt and what more you've done with the your AI that you build afterwards. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you. I have no idea, but GML2D. Thank you for your feedback. Yeah. Thank you once again, Hassan.
Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.